First of all, interesting that, and I understand you, but when you were on Adam Sosnick's podcast, you were very adamant on not being part of the Manosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, if you don't mind going into a little bit of that in terms of why you've kind of disassociated yourself from that.
So I never really tried to associate with it to begin with. You know, if I can be perfectly honest, I started uploading videos in 2014, and the term Manosphere wasn't introduced to me until I started talking to Rollo Tomasi, right? Prior to that, it was like MGTOW videos, you know, and they were actually good MGTOW videos at the time, like 2016, 2017. That's when I started talking about stuff around relationships and divorce and, you know, the realities of the world and that sort of stuff. And I didn't really know what the Manosphere was. I was just answering questions that my audience wanted to hear some, you know, discussion on. And I think around that time, one of the channels that I was watching more of was, I think it was MGTOW 101 or MTOW like 101 or something like this. I think he was a South African or Australian guy. He's one of those faceless dudes that sort of just like did voiceover commentary on press pieces, interviews, and sort of just said, you know, this is what's going on, and you know, this is why it happened, sort of thing, and would offer a little bit of context around it. And they were generally pretty good. They weren't anti-women or pro-male or anything. They were just like, you know, these are the reality of the world, sort of thing. And then I kind of got sucked into the whole Manosphere when I started to get interested in stuff like the Rational Male, and then there was other people that sort of came with that. Pickup artists, dating coaches, all these guys. And that was never me. I've always been an entrepreneur. I ran a very successful business for decades. You know, I haven't worked for anybody since 2002, I don't think. So when I got pulled into that, it was a lot of, oh, okay, so this guy has some good information. It seems like this guy has some useful information. And I started to promote them. They didn't have anything. They were mostly like people that were anonymous on Twitter, on blogs, you know, stuff like that. They never really had a YouTube channel. I think at that time I had about 100,000 subs. And, you know, I'd bring them on my channel and talk to them. And we started like group shows. And one group show, you know, ended because one of the guys was a complete idiot in that realm of things. So I pulled away from him and I started working with other people. And once you start spending time with these guys that are Manosphere creators, the reason why I call it the Mano Swamp is because generally speaking, they're not good men, or they're not good at being men, in my estimation. A lot of them are hypocrites. They'll tell you, for example, dating women that have children from a prior relationship is bad news bears, but they will get into and marry a single mom and lie about it. They'll mock things. You know, for example, like one of the things that I've found very useful in my life was TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. And then you'll see them a few years down the road on TRT. You know, there's a significant change in their physique. So a lot of these guys, I don't see them as good men or good at being men. And I'm very protective of the people that I hang around with, and people that I love, and the people that I want to spend time with, and the people that I want to build up. And if I don't see you as a good man or good at being a man, and by the way, if you want some more context around that, I think Jack Donovan's books, you know, The Way of Man, Becoming a Barbarian, these are really, really good reads for men that want to learn about masculinity as it really is, not as the guys in the Mano Swamp will try to tell you that it is. Because again, a lot of these guys are hypocrites. They aren't doing what they say they're doing. They've got very, how can I put this? They've got shitty pasts. You know, like you wouldn't be proud of their pasts being laid out at a table if you were having dinner with your family in front of your friends and family, you know, for example. So yeah, I just decided not to spend any more time with them. I mean, I speak on very similar topics, but I don't encourage or endorse much, if any, of their material anymore, just because of the people and the way they are. They're not great friends, you know.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I don't care to blast any names, but I'm really curious to know, like, I guess examples, but you know, again, they can either be.
I don't want to put any. No, I don't want to put any names on blast.
That's
it's just
fair.
like,
that's fair.
You know, there's no point in dealing with that. It's just there, again, you know, there's a lot of people in that space, and it's growing now. Like there's a lot of women that have moved into that space, and a lot of people that are grifting in that space, and it's like they see an opportunity to reach men that are struggling, but they're not guys that have done much or anything significant with their lives, right? They have peppered pasts, bankruptcies, jails, incarcerations, like shit, like getting other people in jail, believe it or not. I've seen it all, right? So it's like I just can't associate myself with people that come from that level, right? I've worked too hard, and I'm too good of a person in my estimation, and people that know me personally, to sit at the same table with those guys. I don't like, I want to see them eat, you know, I want to see them survive. I just don't want to sit at the same table with them and share a meal with them anymore, if you know what I mean. So I wish them all the best, and I just don't want to be a part of it. That's all.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. That's yeah. It's become very saturated, and a lot of people don't really care about the intricacies of understanding male and female dynamics. They just want their views. And I think, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as a content creator, of course I want views and I want the money that comes with it, but I care much more about the content that I put out. I was explaining this to a friend. A good friend of mine was talking to me about the algorithm. You know, he started a channel very recently. And he's very, very algorithm based. And I was saying, listen, man, of course I want to grow a big channel, but I'm not interested in having some porn star on my show just so I can get 1 million views. It's not going to happen. Like I want my channel to have value and substance. And if that means that I have to push at it for 10 years, whereas if I would have had a bunch of women with their tits out and that would have gotten me there faster, it's just not going to happen. I care much more about doing what I feel makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, you came on my Unplugged Alpha podcast, which is a separate channel from the Entrepreneurs in Cars. It's really just something that I do as a weekly show to talk about shit that I think that's interesting and take call-ins. And I mean, it's got 37,000 subs, which is not bad for 1 year's worth of work.
Right.
But I also have another channel. I have the book, and I sort of send traffic to it. So there's a little bit of that, you know, momentum that picked up. But I mean, I could have easily had 300,000 or 3 million subs had I, you know, taken the red meat path, which is get a bunch of bimbos, make them look bad, you know, on a show, and use clickbaity titles and thumbnails for like clips and shorts and stuff like that. And it's not that I don't have, you know, men and women that call into show that are like topics of conversation that we cover that could be potentially looked as clickbaity, but I don't produce the content thinking to myself, okay, gotcha bitch, like I want to set this up like I get him in a gotcha bitch, you know, sort of like clickbaity, sort of like let's make this into a short. Like I don't build my stuff out like that. I'd rather do it more organically, having good conversations. And I kind of have that flexibility because I don't need the money, right? Like I've been successful before I started up YouTube, right? Like I was already a multimillionaire long before I even uploaded my first video. So I don't need to pander to the algorithms and do the red meat and make the bimbos look bad on the show, you know, sort of thing. So that's why I do what I do the way that I do it. So I would encourage you to do the same thing, you know, stay true to the sorts of conversations and topics that you want to be on, and don't feed the bullshit because there's too much of it out there.
Joe Rogan spoke about this on one of his episodes a long time ago when he was talking about how long it took him to come up, even though he had a name from Fear Factor. It's not his. Yeah. He wasn't a nobody. I'm a huge advocate of that. If it's going to take me years until the channel grows tremendously, so be it. But I compare it to artists, to music artists. Say the new age rappers that stick around for 3 years and no one knows who they are afterward, versus the rappers who've been known for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. There's a difference. I don't care to be the new trend. I care to be relevant for a long time and actually put out substantial content. That's a lot more valuable.
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.